Part 22. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 211. As Yang Lin said what he just said, both the criminal suspect Huang Dafa and all the police officers present looked horrified. The idea that evil laws harm people is not uncommon in the Dragon Kingdom. In addition, Yang Lin has frequently displayed various magical methods of Taoism recently, so it is not surprising that some people would use evil methods. What really horrified him was the nature of the matter. As a child's biological mother, she had the heart to exchange her own child's life for the life of another child. For this reason, he went to great lengths to take his children out of the country. When you think about it carefully, it is simply creepy and shuddering. What a vicious heart. If she really succeeds, that child will be hopeless. Yes, according to Daozang Yang, the child can only live for a few more hours. Hey! Even if this is the case, there is nothing we can do. After all, they are in Siam now. Even if we contact the Siam police immediately, they may not be willing to help. This is indeed a problem, but now that we know about it, we can't ignore it. While the police officers in the interrogation room were having headaches, Huang Dafa was even more excited than before. Daozang Yang, I know that I have sinned deeply, and I admit all the blame for all the crimes I have committed. You can shoot me, but please save my son. He was still young, he shouldn't have died like this. I beg you. Even though two police officers forcibly held Huang Dafa, he still knelt down in front of Yang Lin. He kowtowed 3 times. The skin on his forehead was torn instantly. Seeing this scene, the police officers present didn't know what to say for a moment. Legally speaking, Huang Dafa is just a criminal now. But from an emotional point of view, he is also a father who loves his children deeply. In addition, this time the matter involves other countries, and they don't know how to deal with it. In the end, they turned their attention to Yang Lin. Tao Zhang, please take a look at this matter. Facing everyone's inquiries and Huang Dafa's begging, Yang Lin showed no expression on his face. He just counted his fingers and said, "Originally, you should not have anything to do with your son's affairs, because he is destined not to survive tonight. But those people are using Nanyang magic to harm people's lives, and I can't do anything about it. But Siam is thousands of miles away from Beijing. If Pandeo wants to stop them from doing this, he needs the cooperation of the Dharma altar." As soon as they heard that Yang Lin was going to fight with a Nanyang magician from far away in Siam, everyone present immediately became interested. Dao Zhang Yang, if you need anything, just ask. Yes, Huang Dafa's son is also a citizen of our Dragon Kingdom. It would be great if we could rescue him. Well, you just prepare according to Pandeo's requirements. Everything else is actually fine. The most important thing is that it would be best if you could find the fire department to borrow a ladder truck. Everyone thought that Yang Lin would make some requests such as yellow paper and incense cases, so when they heard that Yang Lin named the ladder fire truck, they were stunned. Taoist master, don't you want to fight? Why do you need a ladder fire truck? In the end, Qin Feng couldn't help but ask. Regarding his question, Yang Lin first glanced at him lightly, and then said expressionlessly, "Of course it's an opening ceremony. The higher the altar is, the better the effect will be. The Sea of Beijing is so far away from Siam. If the altar is not placed higher, how can I fight with the Nanyang magician in the air?" The anticipation in their hearts could not help but be filled with excitement. As soon as the news came out, everyone couldn't help but feel a little doubt while being curious. After speaking, he said something to Huang Dafa beside him. As these detective netizens peeled off the cocoon, the truth of the matter was also coming out. It just so happened that at this time, Xiao Yuyu also mentioned Yang Lin in a media interview. As soon as these words came out, everyone's eyes immediately lit up. Yes, Yes, Taoist priest, I have it at home. Some smart netizens soon discovered a clue. Teacher Yang, how about I get you a police helicopter? This one is higher. Why do I feel that Xiao Yuiyu knew there was a bomb in that person's suitcase from the beginning? I was watching the live broadcast the whole time, and Xiao Yuiyu definitely didn't notice it when the person got in the car. Only Yang Lin shook his head. Indeed, 1 second he was talking and laughing there, and the next second he became nervous. Someone must have told him there was a bomb in the car. Yang Lin's fans instantly became excited. Something is wrong, something is very wrong. I suspect that someone is secretly helping Xiao Yuiyu. No need to think about it, absolutely, I think I already know who that person is. Isn't the most abnormal thing that he carried the bomb over the roadblock in 3 minutes and ran all the way to the seaside a few hundred meters away from the road? That's right, it's incredible that it can affect Xiao Yuiyu from a distance of more than 20 kilometers. It's easy to handle if you have it. Now that everything is settled, we just have to wait until night. Yang Lin looked out the window as he spoke. After a while, Lu Ming on the side suddenly added another sentence. I can't do it as a normal person, let alone a fat guy like him. It must be some secret method that we don't know about. And before they were excited for long, news came from the program team that Yang Lin was going to fight in a distance. After listening to Yang Lin's explanation, everyone immediately looked at each other and saw a hint of disbelief in each other's eyes. At the same time, the internet on the other side was also abuzz with the bus bombing that had just occurred on Linhai Avenue. The live video of what happened in Xiao Yuiyu's car was even found out by netizens. Not only that, at 4:20 p.m., Xiao Yuiyu also glanced at the suspect through the rearview mirror. Ah! Can you find some clothes or hair that your son wore before? At 4:30, he walked straight towards the suspect and punched the suspect unconscious. This part was also very abnormal. That's not necessary. A mere magician who has mastered a small amount of evil magic won't be able to set the altar so high. But Yang Lin was still at the Zhangjiawan police station at that time. How did he do it? It wasn't until the program team took the camera into the Jinghai Municipal Bureau and learned about Huang Dafa that they finally realized it. Due to the special nature of the matter, it immediately attracted the attention of the majority of netizens after the incident occurred. At the same time, they also said that they would broadcast the entire fight live in the evening. Needless to say, it must be Yang Lin. As soon as Yang Lin finished speaking, Huang Dafa nodded repeatedly. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 212. In a private garden in Mangwu, the capital of Siam, it was dark at this time, but the villa area was still brightly lit. On the open space in front of the villa, a high platform was built with wood. Below the high platform are two huge prayer flags full of evil colors. And more than 10 meters away from the prayer flags, a beautiful middle-aged woman wearing traditional Siamese clothes and covered in pearls and jade was clasping her hands and saying to a monk with a shriveled face like a mummy in front of her, Master Langdu, I know that you are the most powerful mage in Siam. I will leave it to you today. As long as you can allow my son to live in peace, we will give you twice the amount you requested before. Hearing the beautiful woman's words, the mummified monk immediately showed a charming smile. MRS song, don't worry, I have been preparing for this moment for 5 years, and it will definitely be foolproof. But I want to confirm to you once again that once the ceremony is completed, your eldest son's life will be taken away by ghosts and gods. Just after he finished speaking, the beautiful middle-aged woman nodded without hesitation. If it weren't for saving Xiaonyo, I wouldn't have brought him back. Exchanging his own life for his brother's life is what a brother should do. I feel relieved with Madam's words. After saying this, Monk Langda raised his head and glanced at the sky. I don't know why, even though the moon is hanging in the sky, the entire sky is darker than ever. Even the temperature seems to be several degrees lower than usual. Seeing that it was almost time, Langdu immediately waved his hand not far away. The next second, two young monks came toward them, each holding a little boy in their arms. The boy on the left looks to be about 10 years old, and the one on the right looks to be only 6 or 7 years old. There are some similarities between the two people's eyebrows. It's just that when the middle-aged beautiful woman looked at the child on the right, her eyes were filled with affection, but when she looked at the child on the left, her eyes were filled with indifference. After the two monks placed them on the prayer flags on the ground, Monk Langdu took out an alms bowl and a bunch of strange animals from the side. I saw him skillfully slit the necks of these animals with a knife and let out blood. After a while, the alms bowl was filled with a basin of blood that shone with a strange color. And Langdu soon used the blood to write some strange runes all over the two children's bodies. Coupled with the prayer flags under their bodies, the whole scene gave people a creepy feeling, completely lacking the solemn feeling of a serious religious ceremony. However, this is only the beginning. The next steps were even more cumbersome and evil, and all the things used were very disgusting things. Such as dead bodies, human skins, ashes and the like. After doing this for nearly half an hour, Langdu's whole body was already wet with sweat. As a result, the older child on the left suddenly started shaking all over. Sometimes his face twitches, sometimes he foams at the mouth, and sometimes he rolls his eyes. Coupled with his bulging veins, he almost looks like a ghost in a horror movie. Seeing this scene, Langdu became more and more excited, reciting unknown scriptures and kowtowing on the ground. As for other people around him, they were extremely nervous at the moment, especially the beautiful middle-aged woman. Before she came to Siam, she had heard people say that Siam has various spirits that can help people achieve their wishes. But she never thought that these were true, and she couldn't help but feel a little more in awe of Langdu. And just as the evil ritual on their side had begun, on the other side of the Jinghai Municipal Bureau's compound, a fire ladder on top of a fire ladder truck also slowly rose into the air. On the platform directly above the fire ladder truck, you can clearly see an altar. If it is the same as in the movie, the altar is filled with incense, candles, tributes and some other items. In addition to this is Yang Lin, who is wearing a Taoist robe. It can be seen from his expression that he is very leisurely at this moment, and he does not seem to be worried at all about failing in the battle. In a short time, he was sent to an altitude of 100 meters by a fire ladder truck. When this scene was transmitted to the live broadcast room through the program team's camera, the viewers who had been waiting for a long time also exploded. I've learned a lot today. It's the first time I've seen a Taoist priest fighting on a fire ladder. Don't say it's the first time you've met. This is the first time in the world. It is said that he is going to have a magic battle with Siamese magicians, so that's why the magic altar has to be placed so high. Why is this? Is there any reason behind it? Actually, it's easier to understand if you think about it this way. Taoist priests borrow magic from the gods in the sky. The closer to the sky, the better the signal and the lower the delay. It makes sense. If I borrow the method first and you borrow it later, you will definitely lose. And this time Yang Lin wants to cast spells across borders, beyond the local immortal service area, and needs to roam. When you say that, I understand. I don't know if Yang Lin can fight against that Nanyang magician. I'm just kidding. It's just an Nanyang evil magic, a side theory. I heard it was spread from our country. Can it be the opponent of the authentic Taoist sect of Dragon Kingdom? That's right, those who can't make it in the country can usually become some powerful characters. That person is abroad. You ask him to come to China and give it a try. Just when everyone said something to each other, Yang Lin on the cloud car platform suddenly felt something. After looking up at the moon covered by dark clouds, he murmured. Have you started yet? It seems they still have something. But crooked ways are destined to be crooked ways. Today, video will let you see what authentic Taoism is. As soon as he finished speaking, he grabbed a scarecrow from the table, and at the same time picked up the talisman pen on the side and wrote a birthday on it. Finally, a strand of hair was stuffed into the scarecrow's body. In the next second, the scarecrow seemed to come to life, twisting and swinging with an expression of pain. Seeing this scene, Yang Lin immediately let out a cold snort. A mere brat wants to occupy a magpie's nest. If you don't leave, I will drive you to pieces. As soon as he said it, he pointed his sword toward the sky. The next second, a flash of lightning suddenly appeared in the dark night sky. In an instant, a surge of righteousness was introduced into his body, and then condensed on his fingertips. At the same time, Langdu, who was thousands of miles away, seemed to sense something. Looking at the struggling boy in front of him, there was a look of disbelief on his face. He clearly felt a hint of fear from the boy. But that was not the boy's own fear, but that of another being. That was the ghost boy he had worshipped for decades. He really couldn't figure out what could be possible in this world that could scare his ghost boy like that. Just when he was confused, a bolt of lightning suddenly struck straight from the sky. Suddenly the courtyard was as bright as day. When the white light dissipated, the boy who had been possessed by the ghost boy had returned to normal. As for the ghost boy inside him, there was no sound. Puff! As a mouthful of blood spurted out from Langdu's mouth, he immediately aged dozens of years and almost passed away on the spot. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q in Love is. Chapter 213. As a famous mage in Siam, although Langdu is not as famous as the White Dragon King, the wealthy businessmen and dignitaries in Siam are very fond of him. Just because he's good at raising brats. These imps fed with blood by various deformed means can not only perform various weird magics, but also absorb the lifespan of people. It is not difficult to take people's lives even from thousands of miles away. It is precisely because of this that no one in Siam, no matter how rich or powerful they are, dare not offend him easily. And if you want to ask him to help you do it, the amount of money you need to pay is also an astronomical figure. But such a great mage, who was famous throughout Southeast Asia, was lying on the grass in front of the villa like a dead dog. Blood was constantly spraying out of his mouth, and he, who originally looked like a mummy, was about to turn into a skeleton. Seeing this scene, the beautiful middle-aged woman who spent a lot of money to invite him over was immediately shocked. Master Langdu, what's wrong with you? Hearing her question, Monk Langdu endured the pain in his body and soul while saying with a look of horror on his face. Who did you offend? Even my ghost boy was killed by him. Master, what do you mean? The beautiful middle-aged woman obviously did not understand Langdu's words. But at this moment, a golden light suddenly emitted from the older child. As the golden light spread, the bloody runes carved on his body evaporated instantly, and then turned into individual runes that condensed on his forehead. When Langdu saw this scene, his pupils dilated instantly. The look of horror on his face became more and more obvious. It's an expert from the Taoist sect, it's an expert from the Taoist sect. I didn't expect that this child would be protected by a Taoist master from the Dragon Kingdom. I won't do this business with you. I won't do it no matter how much money you give me. Not only is it impossible for me to do it, but there won't be any mage in the whole of Nanyang who will come to take your order. I just took your money, but you want my life. After speaking, Langdu vomited blood and ran out of the manor with the support of 2 disciples. I am afraid that I will be left here if I am too late. But before he even took 2 steps, a white-haired old man wearing a moon-white tang suit rushed into the manor with a group of people. When Langdu saw the appearance of the old man in tang suit, a ghostly expression appeared on his face. White Dragon King, why are you here? Did you do anything just now? No, you can't have such a profound Taoism. After hearing Langdu's words, the old man in tang suit looked him up and down first, and then winked at the group of people behind him. The next second, the group of tall disciples behind him swarmed up and tied up Langdu and others. After finishing dealing with Langdu, the White Dragon King looked towards the courtyard. To be precise, he looked at the two children lying on the ground. When his eyes saw the talisman on the forehead of the child on the left, he became excited. It's the Celestial Master's seal. It's indeed similar to what I expected. It seems that the opportunity I have been waiting for decades is here. As long as I take this child back to the Dragon Kingdom, I might be able to find the true way. While muttering to himself, the White Dragon King led a group of people under his command and walked towards the villa. Perhaps he heard the noise outside, and soon a short, fat, middle-aged man with a wealthy face came out. "Who are you to break into my yard without permission? Do you know my relationship with Director Suva of the police department? If you don't leave." Before the man could finish speaking, his eyes suddenly caught sight of the White Dragon King. The next second he was completely stunned, and his body couldn't stop shaking. As a Siamese native of the Dragon Kingdom, he may not know the current leader of Siam, but it is impossible not to know the White Dragon King. The reason is that the White Dragon King is one of Siam's lower gods. The so-called lower gods are people who can communicate with spirits and possess all kinds of incredible abilities. As a lower god with the blood of the Dragon Kingdom, the White Dragon King has a very high reputation among the people of the Dragon Kingdom, and he also has deep relationships with high-level politicians in Siam. It's not something he can afford to offend. Just when the middle-aged man didn't know what to do for a moment, the White Dragon King walked straight towards the older boy. After confirming that it was correct, he said to a disciple behind him, "Bring this child back, I will accept him as a disciple." Hearing what the White Dragon King said, his disciples quickly picked up the boy. Seeing this scene, the middle-aged beautiful woman was stunned for a moment, and then shouted loudly, "You can't take him away, he is my son. Xiaonyo still needs to rely on him to continue to live." After saying that, she was ready to snatch it. At this moment, the middle-aged man who came out earlier ran out from the side without saying a word, and then kicked her. She was kicked out more than 10 meters on the spot. "You have no discernment. Lord White Dragon King is willing to accept our son as his disciple. That is the blessing we have gained in 8 lifetimes. Go back to your room now." Listening to the man's roar, the beautiful middle-aged woman's face was filled with disbelief. It happened that at this time, the White Dragon King said something in a nonchalant manner. "Your life is very good, but this woman has the appearance of being a coward. If you continue to be with her, I'm afraid you will lose your money." After saying these words, the White Dragon King turned around and left with a group of disciples and the boy. The man was happy first and then angry. He was happy that he could get some advice from the White Dragon King, but he was angry that the wife he found turned out to be a bad guy. Immediately, he walked towards the middle-aged beautiful woman aggressively. At the same time, the White Dragon King and others who had just left the courtyard on the other side also stopped. A young disciple walking on the left side of the White Dragon King couldn't help but ask, "Master, that woman is obviously a typical wealthy woman, why do you call her a weak woman?" Facing this question from his disciple, the White Dragon King first smiled lightly and then replied, "There's no reason, it's just because she offended someone. By the way, I will book the earliest flight to Filong Kingdom for my teacher now. I will take this child back to Dragon Kingdom early tomorrow morning." "Good master, should I fly to Xiangjiang or Ao Island?" "Qinghai. Kyokai." At the same time, thousands of kilometers away in the Qinghai City Bureau compound, Yang Lin slowly descended from the fire ladder after finishing the practice. As soon as they got off the ground, Qin Feng and others immediately came over. "How about Mr. Yang, is the matter settled?" Upon hearing their question, Yang Lin nodded immediately. Of course, and if nothing else happens, the child should return to Jinghai tomorrow morning. What? No one expected that the final result would be like this. While shocked, I couldn't help but feel a little curious. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 214. In the expectations of the Jinghai police, this time it was mainly Yang Lin who came to fight with the Nanyang magician to prevent Huang Dafa's son from having his life taken away. Then they contacted the Siam police to rescue Huang Dafa's son. This process may take about a week. What they never expected was that things would go so smoothly. The only thing that made them curious was who would bring Huang Dafa's son back. While the Jinghai police already knew the final result, the viewers in the live broadcast room on the other side were confused. Although they watched the whole process of Yang Lin's actions, they didn't see many details except for the thunder. Therefore, they still have many doubts in their minds. Is this the end? This is too fast. I thought it would take a while. Yeah, it only takes a few minutes. I thought something supernatural was going to happen, but then I saw a thunder. Isn't this enough? This shows that Yang Lin defeated the Nanyang magician directly. That's right, how can a mere magician block our dragon country's Taoism? It's called fighting if you have equal morals. What you did just now is called crushing. I just don't know what happened to the child and whether he was saved. It's hard to say. Although the battle is over, it is still very difficult to save that child. After all, this is a cross-border country. Just wait patiently for the announcement from the Jinghai police. It can only be The only thing I didn't expect was that the Jinghai police would allow Yang Lin to do what they did. There is no one else like this. As the practice ended, the time came to early morning, and everyone present quickly dispersed. And Yang Lin also returned to the hotel. Thinking about what had just happened, he couldn't help but smile. It's interesting. I didn't expect that there are people in this world who have figured out some crude cultivation methods. Although there is no way to cultivate magic power, it still allows them to come up with some tricks. What he was talking about at this moment was naturally the little devil that Langdu had raised before. In his eyes, the little devil actually borrowed other people's karma, but it mostly borrowed other people's evil thoughts. Help yourself to practice by satisfying the evil thoughts of others. This couldn't help but remind him of Mrs. Husantai, whom he met before, who generally sought out karma by satisfying the followers' requests. Looking at it this way, maybe I can also use similar methods to speed up my practice. Although it is slow, it will last a long time. Thinking of this, Yang Lin suddenly remembered the Taoist temple Li Wanbo had promised to him. At the same time, he began to make plans in his mind. Before I knew it, one night passed. When the time came for the next day, each group of artists started a new day of work as usual. With Yang Lin's help, they all felt like divine help. All the work was carried out very smoothly. Even the number 503 bus driven by Xiao Yuiyu became an internet celebrity bus because of what happened yesterday, attracting countless locals and foreign tourists to check in. Only Yang Lin himself continued to help the police in Zhangjiawan police station with some cases that they could not handle. However, just as the time was approaching noon, a policeman in charge of reception walked into the office with a strange look on his face. "Teacher Yang, someone is looking for you outside, saying they are here specifically to see you." After hearing the words of the reception policeman, before Yang Lin could speak, Lu Ming said with a serious face. "Don't bother Teacher Yang with everything. Just handle the little things yourself and that's it. By the way, what is that person like and where does he come from?" "Well, that person came from Siam, and he brought a child with him. He said he came from Siam specifically to find Teacher Yang." As soon as these words came out, everyone in the office looked at Yang Lin. Siam and child, These two words immediately reminded them of what happened to Huang Dafa yesterday. And they still remembered that Yang Lin said last night that Huang Dafa's son would be brought back from Siam today. They didn't believe it at that time, but now they couldn't believe it. However, for final confirmation, Lu Ming also asked the reception policeman to invite the person in. A few minutes later, an old man and a young man appeared at the door of the office. With just one glance, everyone's eyes were fixed on the boy. While looking at it, they didn't forget to take out Huang Dafa's photo for comparison. After some comparison, everyone's eyes widened immediately. It's him, he is Huang Dafa's son. Yes, they look very similar. Their noses, eyes, and ears are all exactly the same. This doesn't require a paternity test. If only teacher Yang was right, his son was actually brought back. This is incredible. At this moment, everyone really couldn't figure out how Yang Lin managed to find a child who disappeared 5 years ago from thousands of miles away. Hurry up and contact the city bureau, tell them that the child has been found, and then tell the child's father. Let him plead guilty and accept punishment with peace of mind. As he spoke, everyone in the office started to take action. And at this moment, the old man next to the boy also looked at Yang Lin with excitement. Originally, the old man didn't attract anyone's attention until the cameraman on the side gave him the lens. Some viewers in the live broadcast room made some comments with some confusion. This old man looks so familiar. I feel like I've seen him in newspapers or online. I remembered that I saw him yesterday when I was watching other people gossiping about the entertainment industry on Douyin. Yes, he seems to be the White Dragon King of Siam. Is he the White Dragon King who has approved the fate of many celebrities and changed their luck? It's him, you can't go wrong. I remember that there were several stars in the domestic entertainment industry who became famous after asking him for approval. I also heard that the first thing many celebrities do when they go to Siam is to visit him, and even most celebrities are rejected. I didn't expect that he came to Jinghai quietly. If the big-name celebrities knew about it, they wouldn't come rushing over in droves. Not to mention those celebrities, I want to go to him and give me instructions. Last time, the gambling king asked him to criticize his fate, but it was changed by Yang Lin. Isn't he coming to Jinghai this time just to see Yang Lin? Just as the audience in the live broadcast room gradually recognized the identity of the White Dragon King, this highly prestigious metaphysics leader walked up to Yang Lin with a respectful look. I was asked by Senior to come to Jinghai, and I am willing to ask Senior to fulfill my wish. After saying that, he bowed. He completely ignored that he was several rounds older than Yang Lin. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 215. In the police station office, as the White Dragon King said what he just said, the faces of the viewers in the live broadcast room showed expressions of disbelief. In their opinion, the White Dragon King is also a big boss in the metaphysics circle. Coupled with his age, theoretically he should be Yang Lin's elder. But they never expected that the White Dragon King would behave like a junior after meeting Yang Lin, and his words would be full of respect. Of course, what puzzled everyone even more was that one of them was in Beijing and the other in Siam, so they should have never crossed paths, but what the White Dragon King said just now seemed as if he had been prompted by Yang Lin. Before anyone could figure out the reason, Yang Lin looked at the White Dragon King with an indifferent expression. The fact that you brought this child to me means that you have been able to uncover the secrets of heaven. This kind of Taoism can rank among the top 10 even if you look at the Dragon Kingdom Taoist Gate. Hearing Yang Lin's words, the White Dragon King's face suddenly showed a hint of amusement. He has studied the art of counting plum blossoms since he was a child, has read many Taoist scriptures, and has considerable attainments in the art of counting. It is precisely because of this that he can thrive in Siam. But now after receiving Yang Lin's praise, he still couldn't help himself, just because he knew that Yang Lin's achievements in these aspects far exceeded him. "Senior, you deserve the prize. I just happened to watch the stars at night and found something different about the stars in the direction of the Dragon Kingdom. That's when I realized that my opportunity had come. I happened to watch several of your live broadcasts, Senior, so I went to find this child." Listening to the White Dragon King's explanation, Yang Lin immediately smiled and nodded, as if to express his approval of the White Dragon King. But the audience in the live broadcast room was confused. However, the two of them did not explain too much. After some pleasantries, Yang Lin got straight to the point. "There is indeed some fate between you and me. Let's do this. Pandeo will accept you as a registered disciple first. It just so happens that Pandeo is planning to open a Taoist temple in Jinghai these days. You can stay there and help Pandeo take care of it." As soon as these words came out, a look of surprise appeared on the White Dragon King's face. He didn't expect Yang Lin to agree so readily. The audience in the live broadcast room on the other side also started talking after hearing the word Taoist temple. No way, Yang Lin is actually planning to open a Taoist temple in Jinghai. When did he decide? I used to say that his Taoist priest career was a side job, but now it seems that his celebrity status is a side job. He is preparing to start his own section. I've seen celebrities who open hotpot restaurants, celebrities who own racecourses, celebrities who open clothing stores, and this is the first time I've seen celebrities who open Taoist temples. Are you not satisfied with street fortune telling, and are you planning to buy a shop? It's interesting. I wonder if his Taoism will work by then. It goes without saying that it must be effective. I must go and burn some incense when the time comes." The idea of opening a Taoist temple was not a whim of Yang Lin's, but a decision he made after careful consideration. And he had already called Li Wanbo early this morning to confirm that the Taoist temple built on Filong Mountain had been completed in the past 2 days. Just do some more soft furnishings. Now with the arrival of the White Dragon King, there is no shortage of manpower in the Taoist temple. While talking, Yang Lin informed the White Dragon King of the address of Filong Mountain Taoist Temple, and then the White Dragon King left the police station in a hurry. Only the child from before and the policeman from the police station were left. "Teacher Yang, we have just contacted the city bureau. Considering Huang Dafa's current situation, we will arrange for the child to meet Huang Dafa in the afternoon." As Lu Ming expressed his thoughts, Yang Lin also nodded. Although Huang Dafa committed a felony because of the bombing, his son was also successfully recovered. This is undoubtedly the best ending. Thinking of this, he looked at the little boy in front of him again. Perhaps it was because he had not returned to the Dragon Kingdom for so long. At this moment, he still looked confused. Only the aura in his eyes made him look quite different from other children. Thinking of the strange call from before, Yang Lin reached out and touched his little head. "You have a destiny with Tao. From today on, you will practice on Filong Mountain with the grandfather from before." Hearing Yang Lin's words, the little boy nodded in understanding. Just at this time, a strong gust of wind blew in from the window, instantly blowing the documents in the office flying. Upon seeing this, the police officers in the office quickly ran over and closed the windows. At the same time, they did not forget to complain. "It's the typhoon season again. I read the weather forecast and said that this year's number 1 typhoon Susan will officially make landfall in our Jinghai Sea in 2 days. Yes, this time of year is our busiest time. We don't know how much impact the heavy rain and strong winds will have on Jinghai. Last year, there were 30,000 to 40,000 people affected by the disaster in our entire jurisdiction. The key is that it will be inconvenient for us to travel by then. There is no way. As a coastal city, things like typhoons are unavoidable. The power of nature is really beyond the power of human beings to withstand and change. Everyone should be prepared for emergency mobilization." While the policemen were talking, the wind outside became more and more wild. It began to drizzle gradually in the sky. I don't know if it's due to the weather, but the number of people coming to the police station to report crimes gradually decreased in the afternoon. But before the policeman in the police station could feel happy, a heavy rain fell from the sky. As the rain became heavier and heavier, a phone call came in. What? A house was destroyed by a mudslide. Are there any casualties? It's okay if you don't. We'll rush there right away. As soon as the phone was hung up, a young policeman immediately ran to Lu Ming. Director, there are houses in Xiaotaoshan village that have been washed away by mudslides, and Xiaotaoshan as a whole is on the verge of collapse. After hearing the policeman's report, Lu Ming's face immediately became gloomy. The typhoon hasn't come yet, so how could something like this happen? We have to go over there and have a look, otherwise Xiaotaoshan will really collapse and the entire village may be buried underneath. As he spoke, he asked someone to bring him a raincoat and rain gear, and then rushed out after reporting the situation to his superiors. However, at this moment, Yang Lin, who had been listening for a long time, stood up. Pandeo, please go with you. Although Lu Ming was a little surprised when he heard Yang Lin's words, he finally nodded. Not long after, the group of people got into a police car and rushed into the heavy rain. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q in Love is. Chapter 216. As the typhoon approaches, Jinghai, as a coastal city, will bear the brunt. Just the violent storm as a prelude has interrupted the normal life of countless people. The other 6 artists in the Come On Workers program were also forced to stop filming. Only Yang Lin was still on the job due to his special occupation. Even the few staff members who were working with him were forced to open for business. By the time they arrived at Xiaotaoshan village in Zhangjiawan, the rain had almost covered the wheels. As a last resort, everyone had to get off the car and walk. Before walking 2 steps, a village with a simple shape and full of cultural monuments appeared in front of everyone. Under the violent wind and rain, the village had a unique scenery, but at this moment, no one was in the mood to appreciate this beautiful scenery. Teacher Yang, this is Xiaotaoshan village. Behind the village is Xiaotaoshan, a famous scenic spot in Jinghai. It has a history of nearly 400 years and is a key cultural relic protection unit in Jinghai. While trying his best to resist the wind and rain, Lu Ming spoke with difficulty. This village has a permanent population of nearly 1,500 people. If Xiaotaoshan completely collapses, the entire village will be washed away by mudslides. Just as he said this, another huge boulder fell from the mountain in the distance. After a while of rolling, an ancient tree next to the village was finally smashed. Seeing this scene, both the policemen from the police station and the staff of the program team were secretly stunned. My God, this is too dangerous. I only knew that several other celebrities had stopped broadcasting due to extreme weather. I didn't expect that Jinghai would be so severely affected by the typhoon. This is where we are. The storm will not officially make landfall until 2 days later. By then, the entire Jinghai Sea will probably be like the end of the world. Sure enough, it is more difficult for the police. In this case, the police will be dispatched. There is nothing we can do. If they don't take action at this time, more people will be affected by the disaster. Hurry up and evacuate. In this case, this village will definitely be lost. It can only be the... Just when the audience in the live broadcast room was anxious about the scene, a young policeman also put forward his own suggestions. Director, please contact the person in charge of the village to evacuate the villagers quickly. It will be too late if it is later. However, as soon as he finished his proposal, Lu Ming smiled bitterly and shook his head. It's easy to say. There are so many people in their village, and most of them are elderly and children. It will take a while to find a place to accommodate them. And it's not like we haven't been to their village before. Do you think the old people in their village will listen to the advice? After 2 questions in a row, the police officers present immediately became silent. At the same time, a large number of villagers in the other village ran towards the outside of the village despite the heavy rain. Apparently they were aware of what was going to happen next. Seeing this scene, some of the police immediately took on the task of evacuating, while the other part went from house to house to count the number of people and do ideological work for the villagers who refused to evacuate. However, the police force in the police station is too limited. Even if all are mobilized, there will only be a few dozen people. It happened that at this time the rain was still falling and getting heavier and heavier. From the perspective of everyone in the live broadcast room, it looked like a hole had been opened in the sky. After a while, a small river half a meter deep formed on the main road in the village, and a steady stream of turbid muddy water flowed down from the end of the village. Because of this, the originally simple evacuation work has become complicated. Looking at the rising flood, everyone couldn't help but wonder. After taking a closer look, he discovered that the thing he picked up was actually a starfish. The next second he couldn't help but said. His expression changed in the next second. How is it possible? There is at least 50 kilometers away from the sea. How can the sea water flood here? Judging from the terrain here, if this place is flooded by sea water, the entire Kyoto Sea will be flooded. It's so strange. I feel like the rain suddenly became heavier after it arrived at Zyotayoshin village. Yes, there is a well there. The old people in the village said that the well is older than their village. As soon as he finished speaking, the photographer of the program team picked up something from his feed. I just said their village is weird. I don't know, this is too strange. Obviously, no one believed Yang Lin's statement. That's right. If Pandeo guessed correctly, that well is actually a dragon well with a sea eye hidden inside. Combined with what Lu Ming said, everyone showed shocked expressions. He had already vaguely figured out that this village was not simple before he came here. When he arrived at the scene, he could tell at a glance that this village seemed to coincide with some kind of special feng shui. In the ancient people's opinion, this was caused by a demonic dragon, and the Doshin mountain behind was used to suppress the demonic dragon. As soon as these words came out, everyone's eyes immediately focused on his hands. Yeah, I remember it wasn't raining so hard when we were outside the village before. Now that I heard the discussion of these people, I immediately thought of a possibility. Ah! What the hell is going on? Only the deputy director, Lu Ming, looked puzzled and dipped his hand in the water next to him, then gently licked it with his tongue. Maybe the water in this village is not river water, but sea water. He couldn't help but murmured, salty. Just when everyone was expressing their doubts, Yang Lin looked directly at the location near Zyotayoshin. Huh? How could there be starfish here? Sea water? Teacher Yang, are you right? While the policemen were talking about it, Yang Lin's expression changed slightly. As soon as these words came out, the police officers present who were evacuating the villagers were stunned for a moment. Yes, this water obviously flows from the direction of Zyotayoshin. It may not be mountain spring water. Is there an ancient well there? Every time there is a typhoon, sea water pours in from the eye of the sea, causing floods. My God, the flood in their village is really sea water. No, where did this flood come from? In my mind, there is not even a stream in this village, and the terrain here is quite high. It's really strange. I've been here for 5 years and the village is flooded every year during the rainy season or typhoon season. I don't know where the water comes from. Suddenly hearing Yang Lin's question, Lu Ming thought for a moment and then nodded. No one expected that there was such a story behind the incident. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int love is. Chapter 217. In many legends of the Dragon Kingdom, there is the saying of sea eye. The so-called sea eyes are some culverts connected to the sea. Normally, they are fine. Once the sea rises or a typhoon or tsunami occurs, sea water will gush out of the sea eyes. Especially in coastal cities. In the eyes of modern people, this is a normal phenomenon, but in the eyes of ancient people, this is undoubtedly an extremely terrifying thing, so they also regarded it as the work of a demonic dragon. Locking dragon wells are often built to suppress demonic dragons. However, in Yang Lin's opinion, the situation in Xiaotaoshan village is even more complicated. Teacher Yang, what should we do now? If seawater really pours into this place, the entire Jinghai city might be flooded by then. At the entrance of the village, as Yang Lin told the truth, Lu Ming suddenly became more and more anxious. How about I arrange for an excavator to come over and fill up the well, so that seawater will stop pouring back in? But as soon as he said this proposal, Yang Lin immediately shook his head. The eye of the sea connects to the sea. How can it be filled in just as soon as it is said to be filled in? But as long as the Peach Mountain has not completely collapsed, we can still suppress the eye of the sea. As he spoke, Yang Lin didn't explain much. He tapped his toes on the ground and jumped up to a nearby house. Facing the strong wind and rain, he quickly headed towards Xiaotaoshan and disappeared in the rain in a short time. Upon seeing this, everyone moved the villagers of Xiaotaoshan village, and at the same time found assault boats and other tools and headed into the village. Although they believed in Yang Lin from the bottom of their hearts, they were also prepared for the worst. If Yang Lin can't solve the problem, they can escape in time with the remaining villagers who have not evacuated. While everyone was actively preparing, Yang Lin on the other side had already arrived at the innermost part of the village despite the heavy rain. Then a huge old banyan tree appeared in front of him. Under this old banyan tree, an ancient well is continuously flowing out sea water. According to this trend, the entire village will be completely submerged within an hour. What's even more terrifying is that under the continuous soaking and erosion of the sea water, the ocean behind is gradually being soaked, and large areas of soil and vegetation are constantly rolling down the mountain. But at this time, there were some old people in the nearby houses kneeling and praying in this direction. Seeing these pictures, Yang Lin shook his head first, and then floated to the ancient well. With just one glance, he saw the runes carved on the ancient well and the wrist-thick iron chains inside the well. If you listen carefully, you can hear roaring sounds in the well, like the roar of a dragon. I didn't expect that a small mountain village would be the location of the entire Jinghai water vein. Who on earth forcibly trapped this water vein here and created such a feng shui pattern? Although the pattern is good, it has harmed future generations. If you are so poor, you will break the pattern. As soon as he finished speaking, he pinched a water-avoiding spell in his hand. The next second, the sea water in the well parted on both sides, revealing the scene inside the well. In addition to the previous iron chain, there was actually a stone-carved faucet at the bottom of the well. The faucet was tightly trapped by the iron chain and could not escape. Today Pandeo will help you get out of trouble, you can go back to your sea. As he spoke, Yang Lin pulled out the sword behind him and struck the chains with one strike. Ding! With a metallic sound, the chain in the well broke. Shillong also got out of trouble. Only a vague dragon roar was heard, and the 2 seas of water that had been pouring out suddenly stopped. Then the water level in the entire well began to drop rapidly. In less than half a minute, this century-old well turned into a dry well. The stone dragon inside also shattered into pieces. At the same time, Lu Ming and others on the other side also discovered an amazing scene. Judging from the marks on the peach tree, it should have been struck to death by lightning not long ago. When he reached an altitude of several hundred meters, he suddenly discovered that this so-called Xiaodoshan actually showed a basalt force. He flew to the top of Xiaotao mountain. At the same time, the branches and leaves of the tree gradually turned into peach blossoms, and finally turned into 9 huge fairy peaches. Teacher Yang must have succeeded. He blocked the eye of the sea. All the previous doubts in my mind were instantly solved. I saw that the flood water that had already reached my waist began to drop at a speed visible to the naked eye. It was obviously impossible to save the peach tree, so Yang Lin chose another way. After some observation, everyone quickly discovered the reason for the drop in water level, and naturally thought of Yang Lin. Taking advantage of this opportunity, they also accelerated the pace of evacuation. No wonder the entire water vein has to be forcibly trapped. It turns out that it is to nourish the Suan. It seems that there is some great person buried under this mountain. The next second he started mumbling something to the little peach tree. No, I feel like the water source has been cut off, otherwise the water level wouldn't go down. Even though the heavy rain continued, the water level did not rise. As for the root system below it, it penetrates deeply into the entire Xiaotai Ocean, tightly locking the soil and rocks of Xiaotai Ocean. Under the influence of this mysterious force, the small peach tree, which was less than a few months old, grew rapidly as if it had been given a swelling agent. Either he is a member of the royal family, or he is an expert in feng shui. After understanding all this, Yang Lin did not dare to delay any longer, and landed on the top of Doshan Mountain in one movement. In an instant, countless bits and pieces invisible to ordinary people were injected crazily into the body of this little peach tree. And this peach tree is the root of Xiaotai Ocean. After a while it was only knee-deep. It was precisely because of the death of this peach tree that the entire Xiao Peach Mountain began to fall apart. When the mantra was almost finished, he pointed towards the peach tree in front of him. Yeah, who took out the plug that drained the water? Xiaotai Ocean, which was originally falling apart, became stable as a result. With the disappearance of the water veins, the groundwater level in the entire Xiaotai Ocean village has also been affected. The most intuitive change is that the activities in Xiaotai Ocean have become more intense. One after another, the peach trees began to slide down the mountain, and without the root systems of these peach trees, the soil and rocks on the mountain also suffered. I saw him first pulling out his sword and cutting off the centuries-old peach tree with one strike. Then he found a small peach tree that was only half a man tall and transplanted it to the old peach tree's place. After a while, it became even thicker than the old peach tree before. What is going on? Why did the flood recede just as soon as it was said to recede? Very good. Seeing such a magical scene, everyone was surprised and happy. However, Yang Lin, who had just released the water veins and retreated the sea water, was not relaxed. Seeing that the situation was not developing in a good direction, Yang Lin was not anxious at all. The next second, an old peach tree that was hundreds of years old and almost dead appeared in front of him. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 218. On Peach Mountain, as the new peach trees stood on the top of Peach Mountain, Yang Lin also breathed a sigh of relief. Before that, he was worried that the new peach trees would not grow due to lack of proficiency in spells. Now it seemed that the spell was cast more smoothly than he imagined. It gathered the vitality of all things within 100 miles, not only gave birth to peach trees, but also gave birth to 9 spiritual fruit fairy peaches. Although these fairy peaches are not as good as those in the previous life, they can still be regarded as heavenly and earthly treasures in this world without any aura. Looking at these tempting peaches, Yang Lin just let out a breath, and an air sword flew up to the treetops under his control, cutting down the peaches one by one. Finally, he flicked his sleeves, and all 9 fairy peaches were in his pocket. After harvesting the fairy peaches, he did not waste the lightning-struck peach trees on the ground. Such a huge piece of wood is enough to make a mahogany cabinet, let alone a mahogany sword. After collecting these things, he was ready to go down the mountain. but at this moment, his eyes were keenly aware of something that seemed to be in the soil beside him. With a trace of curiosity, he waved his hand casually, and the mound in front of him separated from the middle. The next second a faceless stone statue appeared in front of him. I don't know what dynasty it is from, let alone who put it here. The only thing Yang Lin can be sure of is that this stone statue must be related to the feng shui pattern here. After hundreds of years of cultivation, this originally ordinary stone even had a touch of spirituality. If there is another 1,000 years, there may even be a chance to transform into a spiritual material. Unfortunately, the water veins have now been released by Yang Lin, and Xiaotaoshan has become an ordinary feng shui treasure land. It's a pity to leave it here. It's better to take it back. There happens to be a statue missing from the temple. Just take it back and polish it. After saying that, Yang Lin stopped being polite and took away the stone statue buried in the ground. Then he floated down Xiaotaoshan. As soon as he stepped off Xiaotaoshan, Lu Ming and others appeared at the foot of Doshan. They didn't know where they mobilized several construction vehicles. Obviously he was afraid that Yang Lin would have a backup plan if he missed. When they saw Yang Lin, they immediately ran over in a hurry. What's going on, Teacher Yang? Will this peach mountain collapse again? Hearing this question, everyone looked at Yang Lin with nervous eyes, and sometimes looked at Doshan behind him, for fear that the mountain would collapse all of a sudden. But Yang Lin's next answer made them breathe a long sigh of relief. It's okay. If nothing else happens, this mountain won't fall again within 100 years. As soon as these words came out, everyone's faces were immediately filled with joy. But after the joy, they also had strong curiosity and doubts. After all, not long ago, Xiaotaoshan looked like it was going to collapse at any time. Now Yang Lin suddenly told them that the mountain would not collapse, and they were a little unsure. In order to clarify the doubts in their hearts, everyone quickly patrolled around Xiaotaoshan. It's amazing. Just now, there were rocks falling down all the time, but now there's nothing happening at all. Yeah, there's no problem at all. It's been a long time and not a single lump has fallen off. It's so dangerous. I'm worried that this mountain will disappear. Without this mountain, our village will have to change its fate in the future. Look at that peach tree on the top of the mountain. I remember that half a month ago, wasn't it killed by lightning? At this moment, Yang Lin suddenly had a bold idea. It must be, the old man in the village said, that peach tree is the root of Peach Mountain. If this had nothing to do with Yang Lin, they wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. Just when the audience in the live broadcast room was worried about the typhoon, Yang Lin on the other side suddenly felt a large amount of karma pouring into his body. It would be great if he could get the typhoon away and let it turn around and land elsewhere. Sure enough, karma comes faster like this. I guess Yang Lin won't be able to start broadcasting by then. At first glance, everyone discovered that the old peach tree on the mountain that was supposed to be dead was now full of life again, protecting Xiaotaoshan like a sea-fixing needle under the heavy rain. Spring comes to old trees, which is a good sign. What are you talking about? What do you think a typhoon is? It is a natural disaster and the will of nature. Can humans resist the will of nature? On the other side, the viewers in the live broadcast room who were following the perspective of the program team also seemed to understand something. Of course, we don't care who takes action. The number was so large that it far exceeded the previous outbreak of blocking oil tankers. So the crisis in this village has been resolved, right? Saving thousands of people has so much karma. If I could kill the typhoon and save the entire Jinghai, wouldn't it be? If the typhoon turns around, then it will no longer be a human being, but a god or an immortal. While talking, a village cotter from Xiaotaoshan village discovered something strange on the top of the mountain. Hey! This typhoon is coming at any time. If it continues at this pace, we will probably have to stop broadcasting for the next week. I remember when I looked at it in the morning it was not what it is now. How come it suddenly came to life? The villagers in the village didn't know what happened, but they knew what Yang Lin was capable of. That is to say, with this wind force, anyone weighing less than 90 pounds will probably be blown away. Almost instantly, his realm broke through the middle level of the spiritual official realm. Obviously this time he let go of the water dragon, saved Xiao Doshan, changed the fate of thousands of people, and thus gained more karma than he imagined. Okay, don't blame the photographers. They are still able to follow us to the scene in such bad weather as today. They are already doing their job very responsibly. In that case, this is only the first day. There are still 2 days until the typhoon actually arrives. Then it will be really scary. Vaguely, the policeman at the police station seemed to have thought of something, and unconsciously looked at Yang Lin aside. It's seawater intrusion and landslides. You can handle them all. You are worthy of Yang Lin. Although they knew it well, they did not choose to make it public, but silently buried the matter in their hearts. And his finger also attracted the attention of others. Could the changes in Peach Mountain have something to do with this peach tree? After reacting, his face was also filled with joy. Oh! It's true. At that time, Grandpa also said that the tree was about to become a spirit, so God had to rain down thunder to kill it. It's a pity that the cameraman didn't follow up just now and didn't capture what Yang Lin did. As soon as Yang Lin came over, Doshan was fine, and even the originally dead peach tree came back to life. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 219. As one of the natural disasters that wreak havoc on Blue Star, typhoons affect countless people every year. Some will even lose their lives, and some will have their families destroyed, especially in coastal cities like Jinghai. In addition, according to the predictions of meteorological experts, Typhoon Susan No. 1 will make landfall in the Kyoto Sea this time. One can imagine what the entire Kyoto Sea will look like by then. The number of people affected by the disaster may directly reach tens of millions. If the typhoon can be eliminated directly, the karma obtained will not only make him become an immortal immediately, but it will at least allow him to break through to a great realm. Of course, such thoughts only flashed through Yang Lin's mind. Although he is now in the middle stage of the spiritual official realm, he still does not have the qualifications to face off against the power of heaven and earth. So he quickly settled for the next best thing. Since there is no way to make the typhoon disappear, we have to turn the typhoon and let it land in another direction. In this way, Jinghai can perfectly avoid this strong typhoon. That's it. As long as the typhoon doesn't land in the Dragon Country, it can go anywhere. It's just a matter of preparing some things in advance. As he spoke, Yang Lin followed Lu Ming and others back to Zhangjiawan police station. At this moment, the heavy rain in the sky still didn't stop, the strong wind didn't let up at all, and the entire Jinghai sky was shrouded in a thick layer of dark clouds. It was obviously only 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but the whole city seemed to be late at night. Just when the people at the police station were preparing to take a good rest, Yang Lin took out his cell phone and made a call. At the same time, in the large conference room of the Jinghai Municipal Bureau, all the senior officials of Jinghai were sitting in it, including Qin Feng, the deputy director of the Municipal Bureau. Everyone has seen the current situation in Jinghai. The typhoon is coming as soon as it is announced. According to meteorological experts' predictions, this year's Typhoon No. 1 will be more violent than in previous years, and this is undoubtedly a huge challenge for our entire Jinghai. So I hope everyone here will fulfill their responsibilities and be sure to minimize risks and damage. At the top of the conference room, Tan Zhengming, the top leader of Jinghai City, said with a serious face. The leaders of various departments in the conference room did not dare to be careless at all. After all, they are facing a strong typhoon now. If they make mistakes in disaster relief work, their future prospects will be ruined. But even if they understood this, everyone present still had no idea. After all, humans are completely unable to intervene in things like typhoons, and all they can do is prevent them in advance. When problems arise, check for deficiencies and fix them. There is very little that can really be done. However, just as the air pressure in the conference room gradually dropped, Qin Feng's cell phone suddenly rang. He was subconsciously prepared to hang up the phone, but after seeing the caller ID, the expression on his face changed slightly. He immediately stood up and said hello to Tan Zhengming. "Secretary Tan, I'm going out to take a call." After saying that, he walked out of the conference room. As soon as he left the conference room, he immediately answered the phone. "Dea Zhang Yang, do you have anything to do with me?" "What? You mean you can turn the typhoon around? Is this real? We need our cooperation, okay? If you can really turn the typhoon around, we will fully cooperate. I'm going to report to my superiors right now." After finishing the phone call, the gloom on Qin Feng's face immediately disappeared, replaced by a face full of joy. The next second he walked into the conference room excitedly. As soon as he entered the conference room, he couldn't wait to speak. "Secretary Tan, there is something I don't know whether to say or not. Although it sounds ridiculous, this matter is of great importance and involves the safety of lives and property of more than 10 million people in the entire Beijing and Hainan. Even the original accident-prone areas now no longer have any accidents. Old Qin, are you crazy? You can say such things. Well, let him give it a try." Only then did they know what method Qin Feng had just mentioned. "I think maybe we can let him give it a try. Our bureau has asked him for help before, and now the problem of the Linhai elevated highway has been perfectly solved." As Hao Saiwen put forward his opinion, Tan Zhengming, who was sitting above him, nodded after pondering for a while. If human science and technology had developed to this level, there wouldn't be so many natural disasters. But at this moment, Qin Feng obviously couldn't listen to his persuasion. "Then let me tell you, if we can divert the typhoon and prevent it from landing in Jinghai City, can we minimize the risk? If the typhoon can be diverted, I will no longer have to work as the director of the Meteorological Bureau." Qin Feng couldn't help but feel happy after receiving Tan Zhenming's reply. He also called Yang Lin immediately. "What do you think about turning the typhoon? Do you think you are the Sea Dragon King?" After listening to Qin Feng's explanation, the conference room that was originally full of doubts fell silent instantly. Tan Zhengming himself even showed a confused expression. If Qin Feng had said half a month ago that he would ask a Taoist priest to change the direction of the typhoon, they would have scoffed. Just when everyone thought Qin Feng was joking, Qin Feng said righteously. Hearing what Qin Feng said, Tan Zhenming's face suddenly showed a trace of doubt. "Comrade Qin Feng, do you think it is appropriate for you to say such a thing on such an occasion? I'm not saying we need to use technology to deflect typhoons. In addition to technology, there are many forces in this world beyond our awareness." On the other side, after experiencing the initial confusion, Tan Zhenming's expression couldn't help but become serious. "Deputy Director Qin, I heard that your bureau has recently started asking a Taoist priest to help you solve cases. Only you can do such ridiculous things." When Yang Lin received the call, he also started to get busy. As Deputy Director Qin said, there is no loss in trying it anyway, so why not give it a try? His ability has long been recognized by many people, such as Hao Saiwen, Deputy Director of the Transportation Bureau sitting in the conference room. "Let the typhoon turn? Why didn't you say let the sea water flow back?" But now Yang Lin's reputation is not only widely spread on the internet, but also various departments in Jinghai have interacted with him. In addition, where he asked for cooperation, we also fully cooperated. As Qin Feng said these words, all eyes in the conference room were focused on him. Only a middle-aged man sitting next to Qin Feng kept tugging at Qin Feng's clothes. After all, what he has to fight this time is a natural disaster, and even he dare not say that he is 100% sure. Although I know you may not believe it, it doesn't matter if you let him try it. Even if he fails, there will be no impact. But if he succeeds, it will be a big deal for us in Jinghai. Good thing. If it's really what you said, just say it. For example, when it comes to teaching, the person who just called me is Taoist Master Yang Liniang, who has become famous recently. He told me that he can turn the typhoon around by opening a forum. Tan Zhenming's words obviously express the sentiments of everyone present. Entertainment, let you do a side job and set up a stall to tell fortunes. Author, Immortal Q int Love is. Chapter 220. As Typhoon Number 1 Susan gets closer and closer to the sea, this matter quickly occupied the hot searches of major media in Longguo. Both local people in Jinghai and netizens from other areas are very concerned about this matter. It seems that because of this incident, the entire Dragon Country internet has been cast into a haze. My friends who feel sorry for Jinghai, I hope you are all okay. God bless me. I hope this typhoon is just a mean thing and not serious. That is to say, I hope Susan can give me some face and let go of Jinghai's friends. I used to be envious of coastal cities, but now I know that coastal cities also have inconvenient aspects. Isn't that right? I heard that it has been raining all day in Jinghai City today, and many places have been flooded. The typhoon hasn't even come yet, but it's already like this. If it does come, I don't know how terrifying it will be. I would like to use my ex-boyfriend's 10 years of life to keep all my friends in Jinghai safe and sound. Then I'll stay with you for 10 years, and I'll take it from my ex-boyfriend. As a native of Jinghai, I can tell you that the entire Jinghai is currently in a state of shutdown. Schools have been suspended, factories have been suspended, and office buildings have been closed. But we are used to typhoon days. The only trouble may be the subsequent water and power outages, which will make it difficult to sell vegetables. I heard that there is a local company that breeds crocodiles. Because of the rising water, all the crocodiles ran away. Tisk, 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 it's really exciting. While everyone on the internet lamented the ruthlessness of the natural disaster, the crew of the Come On Workers program also issued an announcement soon after. The content of the announcement was to announce that the program was temporarily suspended due to the impact of the typhoon. Originally, netizens were a little disappointed when they saw this announcement. But the next announcement released by the program team made them excited instantly. Hello, dear viewers, since Jinghai has been greatly affected by the typhoon, the program artist Yang Lin will decide to hold a blessing and disaster relief ceremony at Tianhai Square tomorrow morning to pray for blessings and disaster relief for the entire Jinghai. We will broadcast the entire process live. That's right, the program crew did not directly explain Yang Lin's preparations to divert the typhoon. Because this statement is really too shocking. So they put it another way. But even so, netizens were extremely excited after learning the news. Lu, Yang Lin is serious this time. Other celebrities hold concerts, but he held a Dharma conference here. At any rate, I am using my profession to make my own contribution to the disaster. The number one mage in the entertainment industry has proven himself. Can I sell tickets for this Dharma conference? I want to attend it on site. Yes, yes, as a fan of Yang Lin, I must support him with a ticket, even if it is a religious ceremony. Are you crazy? You also want to attend the Dharma ceremony? Is there anything wrong? Isn't it the same way some celebrities hold concerts now? In this case, Why don't I go see other people's more professional practices? Damn, I can't refute what you said. Ha ha ha, you're laughing so hard. I guess your idea can't be realized. There's a typhoon in the Qinghai Sea. If it goes there, it will be blown away. I suggest other celebrities learn from Yang Lin. His character will always be so strong. For a while, netizens were full of expectations for the upcoming blessing ceremony. And just in the midst of everyone's expectations, the day flies by. Time soon came to the second day, and now there was less than a day left before Typhoon number 1 Susan officially made landfall. Because of this, the weather in Qinghai has become increasingly bad. The pouring rain almost never stopped, and the howling wind blew down many roadside billboards and big trees. The entire Qinghai came to a complete standstill, and not a single pedestrian could be seen on the road. But under such circumstances, Tianhai Square, which is less than 500 meters away from the seaside, is crowded with people. After he finished writing, he immediately used his fingers to create a flame and ignited it. When it burned out, it immediately turned into a line of green smoke and rose into the sky. The next second everyone saw Yang Lin writing something on a piece of yellow paper with a brush. When they saw the scene through the camera lens, they immediately exploded. I guess I'm really panicking. If our Taoist priests from the Dragon Kingdom were really that powerful, our ancestors would have unified the world long ago. I don't feel like it either. Not even the hair on the top of his head moved. Hundreds of policemen wearing raincoats were fixing things needed for the operation on the square one by one according to Yang Lin's request. Not long after, a huge Bagua diagram appeared in the square. At the same time, millions of viewers had already poured into the official live broadcast room of the cheering workers on the other side. Secretary Tan, let's go to the side and take shelter. It's too dangerous here. If we are blown into the sea by the strong wind, it will be over. While the audience in the live broadcast room was talking a lot, in a corner of the square, more than a dozen middle-aged men wearing raincoats looked at Yang Lin worriedly. Look, he looks like he's getting ready to start. Now that we are still talking about what to do, we have already agreed to let him do it. We just have to wait for the results. The leader among them is Tan Zhengming. Including prayer flags, altars, incense tables and other items. As if there was some kind of magic power, the prayer flags nearby that were originally rustling in the strong wind suddenly stopped moving. In an instant, the atmosphere at the scene gradually became solemn. While the leaders of Qinghai were talking, Yang Lin suddenly picked up a writing brush on the altar. No need, I'll just watch from here. I don't know if he can survive, as the typhoon is coming soon. I'll go, the weather is too bad, isn't it? Are you sure Yang Lin wants to hold a prayer ceremony to pray for blessings and eliminate disasters in such an environment? Only the clothes on his body were blown by the strong wind. After everything was ready, Yang Lin, dressed in Taoist robes, walked over against the wind and rain. What happened next also deeply subverted their understanding. Yes, I have never heard of influencing nature with human power alone. In order to prevent these things from being blown away by strong winds, they are even specially fixed. In the center of the figure is an altar. Anyway, our various departments have already prepared emergency plans. Even if he can't divert the typhoon, it won't have much impact on us. Why do I feel that their formation does not look like a ceremony to pray for blessings and eliminate disasters? Yeah, I feel like those people next to me are about to be blown away. While others were unable to move in the strong wind, Yang Lin seemed to have roots under his feet and was not affected at all. But Yang Lin seems to be fine at all. He is indeed a Taoist master. Seeing such a scene, the audience in the live broadcast room unconsciously became silent. At the same time, the people waiting around also chanted scriptures according to Yang Lin's previous instructions. Some of them are fans of Yang Lin, and some are just ordinary netizens who are curious after learning that Yang Lin is going to hold a prayer meeting to pray for blessings and eliminate disasters.